There's a specific kind of lonely that no one talks about. Not the kind where you're physically alone, the other kind. The kind that shows up in the middle of a room full of people. The kind that sits next to you at a table where everyone is laughing. The kind that finds you at night after a perfectly normal day and whispers, "No one actually knows you." That kind of lonely. If you've felt it, you know exactly what I mean. And if you're watching this right now, I want you to know something. Before we go any further, you are not broken. You are not too much. You are not missing something that everyone else was given at birth. You are experiencing something far more precise than that. And once you understand what it actually is, it will never have the same power over you again. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Sophia. From the outside, Sophia had a full life, a job, friends, a family that loved her, weekends with plans, a phone that rang. But every Sunday night when the noise settled, Sophia felt it, that hollow, quiet, inexplicable ache, like she was behind glass, watching everyone else live, but not quite inside the experience herself. She told herself it was just tiredness. Then she told herself it was just her personality. Then she stopped telling herself anything and just scrolled until she fell asleep. What Sophia didn't know was this. What she was feeling wasn't a sign that something was wrong with her life. It was a signal that something inside her had gone unmet for a very long time, something that no amount of noise, plans, or company could reach, because Sophia wasn't lonely for other people. Sophia was lonely for herself. Here is the thing that took me a long time to understand. Loneliness is not the absence of people. Loneliness is the absence of resonance. Resonance, that feeling of being truly seen, truly known, truly met by another human being. And here's what no one tells you about resonance. You cannot receive it from the outside if you're not generating it from the inside. Think about that. When you're disconnected from your own truth, from what you actually feel, want, fear, need, you become invisible, not to others, to yourself. And a person who is invisible to themselves cannot be truly seen by anyone else. They can be liked, they can be surrounded, they can be entertained and included and invited, but not truly seen, because the real version of them, the one beneath the performance, beneath the personality, beneath the carefully managed version they show the world, that version never fully showed up. That version stayed behind the glass, watching, aching, waiting. There's a concept in psychology that explains this with startling precision. Psychologist Carl Jung described the persona, the mask we wear in public, the version of ourselves we construct to be acceptable, likable, functional. The persona is not false exactly, but it is incomplete. It's the version of you that learned what was safe to show, what got approval, what kept the peace, and over time, if you wear it long enough, you can forget what's underneath it. You start to believe that the mask is the face, and then you wonder why. Even when people are responding warmly to you, something inside feels cold. Why the compliments land but don't stick. Why the relationships feel close but not quite close enough. Why the love you receive never quite fills the place that aches. It's not because love isn't being offered. It's because the version of you that needs it isn't the version you let them touch. Let me be direct with you now. Most people try to solve loneliness by changing their outside circumstances. They move to a new city. They download a new app. They say yes to more invitations. They push themselves into rooms and conversations and groups, hoping that more proximity will dissolve the ache. Sometimes it helps, but often it doesn't, because they carry the same disconnection into every new room. The mirror principle tells us something uncomfortable. The reality we experience outside is always a reflection of what we generate inside. If the signal you're sending, through your internal state, your self-image, your beliefs about whether you're worthy of real connection, is a signal of distance, of unworthiness, of hiding, the mirror will give you back distance. More rooms, more people, the same glass wall. You don't need more people, you need more of yourself. Here's where this becomes practical and where it becomes hopeful. The path out of this kind of loneliness is not about finding the right person or the right community. It starts with a single radical act. Letting yourself be known, not performing, not presenting, not giving people the version of you that's been edited for comfort, actually genuinely, vulnerably letting someone in to the place that aches. I know that sounds terrifying. And here's why it's terrifying. Because somewhere in your history, you showed that place to someone, and they didn't know what to do with it, or they made you feel like it was too much, or they left, or they laughed, or they just looked away, and your nervous system, which is always learning, logged that experience as showing the real version of you is dangerous. So the protection went up. The glass wall was built, not to punish you, but to protect you. But protection and connection cannot coexist in the same space. You can be safe, or you can be known. The work, the real work, is learning that you can be both. There's something else happening here that goes even deeper. The loneliness you feel is not just about human connection. The most profound form of loneliness is disconnection from meaning, from the sense that your existence here has weight, has purpose, has direction. Research by Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps and built an entire school of psychology from that experience, suggests that human beings can endure almost any external condition if they have a strong enough sense of why they are here. And when that sense is absent, even a comfortable life can feel like solitary confinement. Many people today have warmth without depth, company without real meeting, stimulation without meaning. They are never alone, but they are always lonely, because the hunger that's driving the ache is not a hunger for people, it's a hunger for significance, for the feeling that who you are and what you do and how you live actually matters. And that hunger cannot be fed by adding more people to your life. It is fed only by answering the deepest question you keep avoiding. Who am I, really, when no one is watching, when there's nothing to perform, when the room is empty and it's just me? I want to ask you something now, and I want you to sit with it rather than answer it quickly. When was the last time you were fully, unapologetically yourself with another human being? Not diplomatic, not managed, not performing. Your best version, just you, raw, honest, present. When was the last time you said something you actually believed, instead of something you thought they wanted to hear? When was the last time you let someone see you struggle, instead of showing up already recovered? When was the last time you said, "I'm not okay," and meant it, without immediately softening it with, "but it's fine"? Because if you can't remember the last time, that's the loneliness, not the absence of people, the absence of honest presence, yours. Here's the paradox that changes everything. The more you try to be what others need, to smooth yourself into something palatable and safe and easy to love, the less connectable you become. Because people don't bond with performances. They bond with truth, imperfect, uncertain, uncomfortable truth, the version of you that stumbles, that doubts, that says, "I don't know, and this scares me, and I'm not sure I'm doing any of this right." That version, the real one, is far more magnetic than any polished version you could construct. Not because vulnerability is a strategy, but because when you let the real version of you take up space, you give permission to everyone around you to do the same. You crack the glass for everyone. One honest moment from one person in a room can shift the entire emotional frequency of that room. You know this because you felt it. When someone breaks from the performance and says something true, and suddenly the whole room exhales, that person is not braver than you. They just decided that being known was worth the risk. Now let me speak to the part of you that is reading this and thinking, but what if I do that and I'm still alone? What if I let people in and they still don't stay? That is the real fear underneath the loneliness, not just the ache of the present, but the terror of the future. What if I'm ultimately fundamentally unreachable? Here is what I want you to hear. You are not unreachable. You have made yourself difficult to reach through protection, through performance, through the perfectly understandable but ultimately self-defeating strategy of keeping the real version of you behind glass. And the way out is not to tear the glass down all at once. It's to make one small crack, one honest sentence to one person, one moment where you let what's actually happening inside you be visible. Not a speech, not a confession, not a breakdown, just one real thing. And then watch what happens, because real things attract real things. Authenticity creates the conditions for the resonance you've been starving for. Not guaranteed, not immediately, but inevitably. Here is what I know about loneliness at its deepest level. It is not a flaw, it is a compass. It is your soul telling you, with increasing volume, with increasing urgency, that you are not fully here yet, that there are rooms inside you that haven't been opened, truths that haven't been spoken, a version of you that has been waiting, patiently and quietly, to finally be allowed to exist. The loneliness is not the destination, it is the signal. It is the pressure that is trying to move you from the life you're performing to the life you're actually here to live. And the moment you begin to answer it honestly, not by filling the silence, but by stepping into it, by asking who you really are and what you really need and what you've been afraid to want, something shifts. Not all at once, not magically, but something real begins to happen. The glass starts to thin, the resonance starts to build. People who see the real version of you start finding their way to you, because you finally gave them something real to find. You are not too much, you are not too little. You are not fundamentally alone in a world that has moved on without you. You are a person who learned, somewhere along the way, that being fully yourself wasn't safe. And that was a reasonable conclusion at the time. But it's not the conclusion you have to live by anymore. The version of you that needs to be known is still here. It has been waiting quietly behind every performance, every managed moment, every night that ended with that familiar hollow ache. It is patient, but it is waiting for you. If this video reached something in you today, don't let it be just another thing you felt and moved past. Sit with it. Find one person. Say one true thing. That's how it starts. That's how the loneliness ends. Not with more people, with more of you.